Let me tell you something, there is power in struggle. There is power in adversity. There is power in failure. We've all been there. We've all faced moments when it felt like the world was against us, when the weight of the journey was too much to carry, when we thought about throwing in the towel and walking away. We've all faced that moment when it feels like the effort is not worth it, when we feel like the door is closed and no matter how hard we push, it won't open. But listen to me, those are the moments that will define you. Those are the moments that will show you exactly who you are. And the key is never give up, never back down, because the power to succeed, to rise above it all, is right there in the struggle, in the failure, in the pain. You just have to tap into it. We live in a world that loves to highlight success. We love the rags to riches stories, the ones where people rise from nothing to become something great. We love those moments when someone wins an award, when they step into the spotlight, when they get the recognition they've been working for. But you know what? That spotlight, that recognition, it doesn't happen by accident. It doesn't happen without the countless hours of work. The failures, the setbacks, the rejections, and all the times you thought about giving up. Success is born from those moments of failure. It's born from the times you fell down and had to get back up. We've all heard the phrase, failure is not an option. But I'm here to tell you, failure isn't just an option, it's a requirement. It's part of the process. The people you look up to, the ones you admire, they didn't get to where they are by never failing. No, they got to where they are by embracing failure, by failing over and over and over again, and then getting up every time, no matter how many times it took. It wasn't the lack of failure that made them successful, it was their response to it. It was how they handled it. They didn't allow failure to define them. They used it to fuel their journey, to keep pushing forward, to keep fighting even when it seemed like all hope was lost. So why do so many of us give up when things get tough? Why do we allow failure to dictate our future instead of using it as fuel? It's because we're afraid. We're afraid of what people will think. We're afraid of what we'll think about ourselves. We're afraid of being judged, of looking weak, of feeling like we're not good enough. But let me tell you this, every successful person you admire, they were afraid too. They had doubts, they had fears. They had moments when they thought they couldn't go on. But the difference between them and the ones who don't make it is simple. They didn't let fear control them. They didn't let failure stop them. They used fear and failure as stepping stones, as lessons, as reminders that they were on the right path. They kept pushing forward even when the road was tough, even when the journey felt impossible. Now, let's talk about failure for a minute. There's a misconception that failure is the end, that it's something to be ashamed of. But failure isn't the end, it's the beginning. It's the start of something new. It's the moment when you realize that you're learning. You're growing, you're becoming stronger. Every failure is a lesson. Every mistake is a step towards success. When you fail, you learn what doesn't work, and that's just as important as knowing what does work. It's the trial and error that leads to the breakthrough. Think about it, every great inventor, every scientist, every entrepreneur, every artist, they've all failed many times before they found the success they were looking for. And they all knew that failure was not something to be avoided, it was something to embrace. But I want you to understand something here. Failure is not something that just happens to you. Failure is something you create. It's a choice. It's a choice you make when you decide that you're going to keep going, even when everything inside you is telling you to stop. It's a choice you make when you decide that you won't let a single setback define your future. It's a choice you make when you stand tall and say, I'm not done yet. I'm not giving up. I'm not walking away. Now, I know it's not easy. It's not easy to keep going when you've been knocked down time and time again. It's not easy to keep fighting when you feel like the world is stacked against you. But that's the thing about life, it's not supposed to be easy. It's not supposed to be handed to you on a silver platter. The struggle is part of the process. The pain is part of the journey, and what you do in those moments when you're down, that's what defines you. When you get back up, when you dust yourself off, when you keep going, that's when you show the world who you are. That's when you show them your strength, your resilience, your determination. You show them that you are not someone who will give up. You are not someone who will quit. And let me tell you something else, those moments of failure, those moments of struggle, they will come. They will come. And they will test you. They will challenge you in ways you never thought possible. But it's in those moments that you find your true power. You find out what you're made of. You find out how much you're really capable of. And if you keep pushing, if you keep moving forward, you'll find that what once seemed impossible is now within your reach. Now, let's be clear here, failure isn't just about the big things. It's not just about the big dreams, the big goals, the grand achievements. No, failure shows up in the small moments too. It shows up when you try something new, when you take a risk, when you step out of your comfort zone. It shows up when you push yourself beyond what you thought was possible. It shows up when you're brave enough to go after what you want, even though you don't have all the answers yet. And that's the thing. It's not about waiting for the perfect moment. It's about taking action, about putting yourself out there, and about being willing to fall down along the way. Because if you're not willing to fail, then you're not willing to grow. And if you're not willing to grow, then you're not willing to live. Every time you fail, you get a little bit stronger. Every time you pick yourself up, you get a little bit tougher. Every time you push through the pain, through the doubt, through the fear, you grow into the person you were always meant to be. And one day you'll look back on all those moments of failure and you'll realize that they were the very things that made you who you are. They were the things that prepared you for the success you're about to achieve. You see, success doesn't come from never falling. Success comes from how many times you get back up. It comes from how many times you refuse to quit, from how many times you choose to keep going. Success comes from resilience. It comes from the willingness to keep pushing forward, no matter how many times life knocks you down. And when you get to that point, where you've been knocked down so many times that you think you can't go on anymore, let me tell you something. That's when the breakthrough happens. That's when you step into your power. That's when you show the world that you are unstoppable. So don't be afraid of failure. Don't be afraid of the struggle. Embrace it. Welcome it. Because it's in those moments that you will find your true strength. It's in those moments that you will rise above, and it's in those moments that you will realize that failure is not your enemy, it's your ally. And as long as you never give up, as long as you keep going, there is nothing that can stop you from reaching your dreams. You've got this. Keep fighting, keep pushing, and never ever give up. As we wrap up, let me leave you with this: your journey is yours to define. The road will not always be smooth, and the path will not always be clear. But every failure, every setback, every time you feel like you can't keep going, it's just one more opportunity to prove to yourself that you are stronger than you think. It's one more chance to dig deeper, to rise higher, and to become the person you were always meant to be. Don't look at failure as the end. Don't look at it as a reason to quit. Look at it as the beginning of something great. It's a lesson. It's a challenge. It's the fuel you need to keep moving forward. Every time you get knocked down, every time you fall, it's just another chance to get back up stronger than before. So remember this, success is not for those who never fail, it's for those who never give up. Keep going, keep fighting, and never stop believing in yourself. Your dreams are not impossible. You've got what it takes. And if you keep pushing, you will get there. You will rise above. And when you do, you'll look back and realize that the struggle wasn't something to fear, it was something to embrace. Because it was in the struggle that you found your true strength. Never give up, keep going. And watch how far you can go. The best is yet to come. Stay strong, keep fighting, and never ever quit.